to
Illegal.
Law and
What you've
Order.
read.
No, do
Right.
your quotes again.
Legal.
There you go. There you go. Got to cover our butts.
Could you, it's not legal.
That's a little closer to Dr. Evil there. Like you need to,
Thank you.
I'm not a big winker, so you're not going to get me to do that. Sorry.
Oh.
I like to do the
Oh.
quotes.
Ron was just saying you were a big winker. Oh,
I did.
must have
I've been
misheard.
spreading that rumor. That joke.
Big wanker, maybe?
He's a
Maybe misplaced the vowel.
Right,
because
right,
I'm so
right.
British. Indeed.
Wanker? Have you ever seen there's a Ted Lasso thing where he goes, what where they're talking and it's before he did the show, he was doing these commercials for the Premier League and he was on there and the host of it goes, "You're a big wanker." He goes, "Wanker? How'd she know my nickname?"
Speaking of wankers, welcome everyone.
As you put hi, you put A.F. Stewart hello, and you said, "Speaking of wankers."
Oh no, not for her. Not for her.
Yeah, I
one's
didn't think it was
definitely
for her.
you.
No.
All right, we should get down to business. Welcome everyone. Thanks for holding out. It's been a couple weeks since we've been on, but we are back. This is Spilling Ink, where we are the show that takes you behind the book to meet the authors and professionals in the publishing industry. And as promised, we've got some new people to talk to today. And since Jane is out, she's at a christening. She's got a wonderful reason for being away this week. I've got Joe Compton, the man himself, as my co-host for today. Hey, Joe, how we doing?
Really good. How are you?
I'm great. Surviving, living life, all that good stuff.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for jumping on and being my co-host today.
Absolutely.
One of the characters is fond of that word.
Nice.
There we go. See, Anita's not upset.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Anita, it wasn't meant for you. That was.
And it was all for me, everybody.
That's it.
I'm the fucking wanker.
I should do with you like I do with my kids. Language.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I'm not on GoIndie now, so I apologize. I have to watch my P's and Q's like I was talking about last night on Spilling Ink. So I should
right. We don't
be I should be very professional. I apologize.
That's right. Be professional. Bring it. Definitely. There you go. There we go. Just like that. All right. Well, like I said, as promised, we brought some new people on for you guys to meet. Now, Ron, I don't know if you've been on our show before.
I have.
Okay. Well, as a first timer to our show, welcome. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Ron. I write fantasy, science fiction, humor, mixes of the above. I'm also a Scorpio. I love gardening and cooking and baking and eating. Really, I love eating. I do all the other shit so that I can eat.
I like you led with the Scorpio part. Is that important?
No, it's not important.
You just made it important because that's Katie's thing. That's Katie's thing.
I mean, it was more of a joke than anything,
It's like the dating profile.
Yeah. I'm an alcoholic.
I want to mention, I'm going to talk over that because nobody needs to know those things, Ron. You're okay. You're in safe company here.
Wow.
Really an alcoholic. I'm just an enthusiastic drinker.
I was going to mention that you put up that thing about Harrison. For anybody who doesn't know, Harrison is her 4-year-old son. So.
Well, that puts that into a lot of context.
He looked cool.
Actually, it's my 18-year-old though that I've had to comment on the language more than my little ones. My boy child is hilarious. He's 10 years old and he's very sensitive to language. So he calls other people out on it, but he also picks other words that aren't necessarily bad words and will call them like the S word and be all up in arms when somebody says it. And I'm like, which S word are we talking about? Who said what now? So somebody says the word stupid or shut up. That's also in his mind the S word.
So many S words.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't a particularly competent parent, so I tried to get my children to curse because I thought it was hilarious.
For me, it's all about context. If it's used appropriately, I can let it slide. But if it's just, tossed out as part of regular conversation, it's like, all right, come on now.
Well, this one wasn't cursing, but my practice wife, her mom was real religious and would give us these VHS tapes of animated Christian stories.
Like Veggie Tales or worse?
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing
Well, it was
too.
before then, and they were really bad and super cheap. Like she'd get them at a dollar store,
Oh, yeah.
and
Generic
although
Veggie
in those days
Tales.
it was a nickel store, because
Right.
this was anyway. But we said, we're not sure what we're doing about religion with the kids, but can you just not do that? And she wouldn't stop. So one day she was going to take our oldest for the weekend, and I taught her to sing "I Love Satan, the Devil is My Friend," and so my practice wife and I are laughing as she's doing it. And she's just standing on the couch, holding the back of the couch, jumping up and down, and encouraged by our laughter. Eventually, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard because she's just over and over screaming this. And long story short, I won. We never got another animated video, from my ex-mother-in-law.
I love that. Way to
All
just
about winning.
lean right into it there to force your hand. I love that.
Yeah,
I
don't
may have
cross
to think
me.
about that. I have to think about doing something like that. Oh, we got a comment about the practice wife.
Practice wife, training wife, my first wife. Yes, I now am married to my forever wife. It used to just be current wife, but for PR reasons, I have switched it to forever wife. For now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We might
It
have
was
to dive
only
in.
we were only married 15 years, so it was kind of a fling.
That's a lot of practice.
Practice makes perfect. I don't know. I think I'm better at being married now. I was not so great then.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The
All right, well,
first
let's
wife
jump on
did.
over.
She did smarten you up a bit. I mean,
Well, really, it was the after action report, where I analyzed the failures of the marriage and came up with my action plan for.
I was gonna say, what are those after
And
action reports like? After specific actions, or
well, just after combat, you have an after action report, and there was a divorce. I mean, it was a very friendly, pleasant divorce, but it was still a divorce. And we didn't get divorced because it was awesome. Apparently, I mean, I was surprised when she left, but she apparently did not think it was awesome. So,
were we not reading the after action reports closely enough?
Well, no, there was only one after she left. I was like, oh, I really want to do better in my next marriage or marriages, and live and learn. I wanted to be better. And so far, this one hasn't divorced me. So,
Hey, knock on wood. Good job.
fingers crossed.
Keep up the good work.
I tried to find somebody who wasn't a quitter.
Ah, smart.
That was my first question. Hi, I'm Ron. Are you a big quitter? And then I just move on.
That was after you told them you were a Scorpio, alcoholic, all the dating profile list.
I kept the alcohol part a secret.
Oh,
good.
Yeah,
as a Scorpio would.
Doy.
All right. Let's jump over before we get too deep into the weeds here. And Robin, you've never been on the show, so
Nope.
Introduce yourself. Tell us about you and your writing.
Hi, Robin Burchett. I go by RJ, since my initials are R and J. Seems appropriate. Also, I thought Robin sounded like a feminine name, even though I chose it when I was an adult. So, who knows? I'm a man of mystery. Other than that,
A
I write
feminine
humor.
man of mystery.
Yeah. I write humor primarily in science fiction, and Ron and I have a book coming out in a couple of months here, and
Well, do tell, or don't spoil too much, but give us an idea of what this new book that you guys wrote together is.
well, when did we crack it open? When did we start working on it? About 35 years ago, was it?
Well, like 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Well, what happened was I had a poker game. I mean, we were teenagers. The first place I lived after I moved out of my parents' house. And almost every Friday we would have a poker game and, beer, cigars in this dump apartment I had. And there were no cell phones back then. And so
Right, so
everybody
we could
canceled.
focus.
Everybody canceled except for Robin. And I couldn't get a hold of him so he showed up, and it was just him and me. We couldn't really play poker, so I was like, "Hey, I've been reading this book by Harlan Ellison, Partners in Wonder, and the idea of collaborating would be fun. Why don't we write a story instead?" Because we had done some writing together before. I'm in high school, and then it just got out of hand.
Well, we'll just do a short story, and then
Okay.
so yeah, one of us would write for a bit, and the other one would like go make some food, and then they'd come back, and whoever was writing would be like, "Well, I got it this far, but now I'm stumped." And the next person would say,
Well,
well, I know what could happen here."
see, I remember it differently. This was the days of typewriters. We didn't have a computer at the time. Not long after the first draft was done, Robin got a Mac, but I had an electric typewriter, and we would type a page, and the other guy would literally sit there. The one person would write it, pull it out, give it to him. They'd read it, and then they'd write the next page. And for the majority of the book, that's what I remember, because that was one of the ways that Harlan Ellison did it. Because after every short story in this book anthology he would talk about how he and the co-author wrote it. And that one seemed the most interesting, although they were trying to write each other into a corner, and we weren't trying to do that. At least I wasn't. Robin.
Now, that sounds like fun.
But it was, I mean, you didn't know what you were going to be handed, and then you just keep going. It was very fun. I had a great time.
Sounds like the improv game of yes and.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a question game, more like the question game,
Right?
where you have to say everything in a question.
Okay,
And you try to get the person to say a question, basically.
So then the question that we have to ask is, why did it take so long to come to fruition?
We just forgot about it.
Life,
I expected you to make up a story here, and you're like, "Nah, we just forgot." Tabled it for how many years?
Like a fine wine, we let it age.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then
We'll
what
see
brought
how
it
it
back
holds up.
into the spotlight? What made you decide to jump on it now?
Well, we started talking again. We hadn't spoken in years, and I looked him up, and we started talking. And in the interim, we had both written some stuff, and I mean, we already had those other books. Why not put this book out? And I still love it. I mean, I think it's funny. Robin is very smart, very funny.
It's true.
And I think the book is a lot of fun. It had been so long since I had read it. When I read the latest draft, I was like, "Ooh, nice. Ooh, I like it."
That is
we
not
were
the
clever.
response I get when I look back at stuff I've written years ago. It's like, "Oh, geez, what the hell was I thinking?"
Well, I'm easy to impress.
Okay.
I'm apparently.
Yeah, I look for the nearest fire is what I look for, so I can throw it in there.
Oh, you guys are tough on yourselves. I'm like, it's like with cooking. If I make it, I'm like cutting myself all sorts of slack. Oh, this is fine.
Okay.
This is really good. This is the best.
I think we should
soup
all
ever.
adopt a little of that. It'd probably be better for our psyche if we were a little nicer to ourselves. And Joe doesn't agree. No.
Not when it comes to words. No, words come and go.
Okay. All right. All right. So you find the manuscript, you start talking to each other again, and now it's just go time, right? You guys have decided this is going to become an actual book.
It's just formatting and final edits. And then, I mean, we have to write the back matter. That's about it.
And the front matter. Let's not underestimate the importance of the front matter.
Yeah, we have the middle matter all taken care of.
That's locked up.
And then I'm hoping it'll turn into like a 25 book series.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, give us a premise here. What are we looking at, genre wise, theme wise?
Humorous science fiction. I think zany. It's not quite slapstick, but there are elements of
Goofiness.
Goofiness, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah, I like hard science, but I am not a scientist, and this is not hard techie science fiction. There will be no.
Oh yeah. Emphasis on the fiction, not the science. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, in my opinion, enjoyably so. But I know there are people who very much pick apart the science of every science fiction book that they read. Those people should not read our book if they
Right.
want to be happy,
Okay.
because it
So
is not. They're not our target audience.
More
Robert Heinlein would
Star
would not
Wars or
approve.
more. What are we
More
thinking in terms
Spaceballs.
of Spaceballs? Oh,
Except it's
beautiful,
not
Closer to
parody.
Spaceballs.
beautiful, beautiful.
But the
Okay.
sentiment, the feeling is definitely that. I mean, it's called "You Get What You Steal." It involves, galactic crime, and I don't know what.
I like
I
how
mean,
you
yeah,
guys
I
are
hate to
keeping
give
it so
anything
close to
away.
your chest. You're like not giving away too many details. You're making sure that everybody is teased enough so
There
that
are
if they want to find out
characters
more, they
in the book,
must get it.
and
It's
they
true.
take actions, and they say things.
We're gonna need Ron. We're gonna need an elevator speech.
Yeah,
That
true.
gives it just enough, but not
Hilarity
too much.
ensues. I want that
Hilarity
in the elevator
ensues.
speech. Yeah, I mean, like the vast majority of my books, one of the characters is a thief because I'm pro thief, apparently. I mean, the main character of my fantasy trilogy, a thief. I don't know how it happened, but apparently thematically that's where I'm at.
Possession's 9/10 of the law. Okay.
Even though I'm against thievery in general.
I think you put a little of yourself into your writing, so there's that secret side of you that's like, I really do want to steal things, but you get away with it in fiction. So you give yourself the feeling of doing the naughty deeds through writing, so you don't actually do them in the real world.
Well, I definitely have never killed anybody, and there is that in the books. People do get killed.
Allegedly.
Yeah, legally.
Legally.
Legally. Thank you.
So yeah, although when I met my forever wife, Laura, she thought I had no sense of humor until I told her. She was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, "I'm going to go to the railroad tracks and beat up hobos." And that was the first time. Up until I said that, she thought I had no sense of humor. I'm like, "Wow, I don't know how that could be, because that's all I have."
She must have assumed you were insane, given the
Yeah,
things that you
just
say.
an idiot. Well, that guy's
Right.
a moron. Yeah, that was probably it.
And yet
She
she
said-
stuck around though, so there was something that intrigued her.
Well, maybe
He's
she's
kind of
very
tall.
bright.
That's probably
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
I hear women like that.
she's super short and with tiny T-Rex arms, so I can get shit from
Off
the
the
upper
shelf.
shelves.
It's true.
So that's good. I told you guys Robin was smart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Tall people do have their utility. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
very true. And as a short person, I definitely appreciate when somebody can reach that top shelf, so I don't have to climb up there myself.
We own so many step stools.
You have
Step
to when
ladder.
you're short.
Yeah.
Everybody puts things up so high. I don't know why.
Which for me, I can't even see things that are lower down anywhere. I have to get
But
her.
there's the
Look
balance.
down here. Yeah. So yeah, we
There's
work
the
well
balance.
together.
All right. So speaking of working well together, not you and your wife, but you and your writing partner now, what else are you guys working on together?
The other 24 books of the series.
Other 24 books. Now, how many years is that
I'm
going to
just
take to
kidding.
put out, though?
Well, they're so. I mean, really, we just spit the crap out. So probably what, like 6 months? No,
I was going to say 'cause,
many years.
The first one took how many years?
Well, if the first one took 30 plus years, then
But the first one lays the foundation, right? You can just play off
Right.
of that.
Right.
The sequels
6
will
or
all
8
just be
left
pale
minutes,
imitations.
I like that. It's in response to the tall comment, because you can't see anything right below you.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
need
I
that
would
camera
love
to
to
show
have-
you what's there.
I would love to have cameras that show me what's behind me all the time.
Yeah.
That
we're down by
truck
your
is
knees.
cool. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You wouldn't have to crouch anymore to.
A lot of the times I just lay on the floor and I roll around so I can see things. It's awful.
It's not an effective way of moving around, though.
I don't know what else to do. Katie.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you and your partner, you have the yin and yang. You get the tall stuff, she gets the short
Yeah.
stuff. It's all good.
If only I could convince her to stay by my side 24 hours a day.
I think
Yeah.
Katie's
Good luck,
intention. I think Katie's intention was for you guys to talk about the other thing you're doing.
What?
That's not writing. That's
Robin should have
the other
answered.
thing.
He's the
All right.
smart
Well,
one.
we do have one other project. We are starting a game show that we are calling Indie Mayhem, and it will have similar people to the ones that would be on a show such as this, but we're also going to broaden it out to musicians and people making film and people making graphic novels and other sorts of independent creative crafts, and do it as a game show format so that it'll be lively and fun and we can have witty banter.
I heard you guys got the blessing from an awesome person to do this show, and on an awesome place. I mean, I heard that. I'm not sure about that rumor.
Doesn't
Can
ring a
you
bell.
confirm or deny that for me?
I don't know. Okay, yes. Yes, we did. Well, God, we were doing, I assume this week in Indies. And afterwards I was messaging, Joe of, hey, I'm thinking I want to do some sort of show. What do you think? And he's like, yes, that's a great idea. And then we decided I would do it on the Go Indie Now channel, umbrella of channels. And then
Network. You can call it a network.
Yeah, network. There you go. Thank you. And I was like, what do I want to do? I mean, there's a lot of shows on there, and I wanted to do something different that I would really enjoy, that would be fun. And so I came up with game show, and Joe liked that idea. And then I thought I need to do it somewhere where there's better internet than I have. So I immediately thought of Robin.
If you see the clarity of my image here, you can tell I have.
There is a distinct difference.
does.
Yes.
I have much better.
Living in the
well, I am clearer also, but Ron's kind of pixelated in real life.
Ugh, I am getting doughy in my old age. That is for sure. Being obsessed with food has one negative effect of the weight.
You don't gotta tell me.
But
You gotta tell me.
But living in the country is great for growing food and having animals and all sorts of great things in the space to do whatever you want. But the population density is not high enough for any of the real, high-speed internet people to run that last mile. I mean, we have some about a half a mile away where there's a housing development, but they're not interested and have no plans ever to extend it to where I live. So, so I have to just
Unfortunate.
maintain my relationship with Robin.
Where's the Lahr residence again? Okay, we've got to make sure that we make a nice right or left, and stay away from that corner of the world.
There's like,
right there.
yeah, in the area we live, there's
a really
about
long cable and run it down to the.
I just need to get rich enough that I can pay for it, no matter what. Just run fiber to my house
or have a blimp,
whatever.
just kind of hover over wherever you are. And
yeah, that'd be great. I do have one neighbor that has the SpaceX stuff, and he thinks that's great when it's working. And I'm like, well, that's not really what I want. I would like reliability as well.
All right, so tell us the show. When is it going to start? And do you guys have some kind of a sample idea of what it's going to look like?
Well, we hope to premiere in the end of March.
Okay, so very soon.
Yeah, we've been lining up sponsors and contestants and writing questions. I mean, there'll be 3 sections of questions, focusing on. There's one that's about creators, so the creative process, about books, movies, and music, and the artists who created them, popular stuff. The second one is the Indie Mayhem part, where the questions can be about anything, and many of them are tough to answer correctly. I don't want to give it away
or
anyway.
Incorrectly.
Yeah, because apparently writing enough questions for a season of game show is ridiculously hard. There are so we can't afford to spare a single one. to ruin a single one. And then the third one will be a lightning round where they're very short answers. And of course, part of the goal is to get everybody a chance, all the creators a chance to promote their work, but in a way that attracts people who are not necessarily currently fans of these people, expand the audience and reach out to people, to an audience of everyone, because we just want people who like to laugh and have fun and be entertained. And they have to speak English, really, to get it, I think.
Or it could be translated.
It could be. It's not going to be at first, I don't think.
No, but isn't that just all automatic now? It's like,
I don't know. I could do really, really bad translation of French or Spanish.
Well, that ruins my idea for the Mexico field trip season. So I guess we'll have to do that another time. Maybe like that'll be like season 10.
We're going to get a green screen, and so it should be easy peasy field trip where you want to be.
I like that. With a push of a button, poof, new location. All right, so I've got to ask though, what happens? Is there a penalty for answering questions incorrectly?
Well, the winner of the show, we're going to have sponsors, and the winners will receive usually digital versions of a book or a movie or music or something by some of our sponsors, and the losers will get our book.
Yeah, screw those guys. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's creative.
That'll teach them to not make an effort. And so yes, that is very true. And we're doing at Joe's idea actually was to have it so there'll be 9 shows originally, and then the winners of those 9 shows will then participate in 3 semifinal shows.
Face off,
and then the winners of those 3 will then compete for the ultimate prize, which right now what we're considering is that if you're a filmmaker, I get to be in every one of your projects from now on. If you are a musician, I will be in your band. And if you are a writer, I will help you with all of your writing.
Well, sounds like RJ gets the short end of the stick here. What does RJ get for the winner then?
I get the money.
Are you? Oh,
yeah. So however much money Ron makes for the person, I get that. So.
Wow, that's some really good incentives, guys.
We haven't worked out the grand prize.
Everyone jumping for that.
Yeah. that we're still working it out.
Awesome. Okay, and
maybe I bake them something.
It's starting in March, correct?
Yes,
end of March. Yes.
Okay, end of March. So is this going to be a weekly, a bi-weekly?
A weekly.
So it's going to be 9 weeks, you said, running weekly? That's a
it'll
pretty
be
good
13.
Run.
It'll be 13.
Or 14.
And I want to do a 14th one where, the competition part is 13 episodes. But I want to do an extra one where Robin and I are also the 3 contestants in various costumes. And it's an entirely scripted show.
Why'd you give that one away? That was gonna be our big
I want to do it in every season, so it's gonna it's kind of gonna.
That sounds like such a fun idea.
March 28th they'll air on Mondays. Ooh. So that's.
And it'll be live for people to watch, or will it be recorded for? Okay.
No, because we want to edit out all the dumb things people say. What you wish you could do.
They want to make themselves look really, really good. And...
but there are, we want to do some things to make it more fun to watch. That, if we're focusing on hosting, it's hard to do some of the things we would like to see in the show. So we're going to do like what big network game shows do. Record a whole bunch. On one day, and then spend the time in post, editing and also that'll give us a chance we can record a little longer and then cut out some of the boring stuff.
Oh yeah.
Make
Please
a nice.
Tell me you'll have sound effects too.
Well,
of course
we will. I wasn't going to say anything. Thank you, but
sorry, I go in for all that goofy shit. I love sound effects, so.
So do we.
Okay, let's make a moratorium right now that everything that Katie suggests, you do not have to put in the show. Right? I know it's customary to appease the host of the show, but
We're very
let's not.
accommodating.
Yeah, anything you want, Katie. That's
Yeah, you
Ron
tell us.
promised me that before we started.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, he said, "What's her name?" But he meant
Yeah.
you.
I did.
I answered many names.
I have a notoriously bad memory for people, both faces and names. And so my wife normally will tell me this is that person, when we go anywhere. But today at lunch, so my family were big Gonzaga basketball supporters. So there was the last home game for the Gonzaga women's basketball team today. And our group of season ticket holders had a lunch get together at a local Gonzaga bar before we went. And there was a couple there, and the organizer of this event's name is Pam, and she's like, "Hey, Ron, do you know these guys?" And she looked at them, "Do you know Ron?" And none of us knew. Now they were like 80 years old. I just suck at remembering. So I'm like, "Hey, great to see you again or meet you, whatever the case is," because I honestly have no idea if I've ever met them. But it's only because I don't care for people in general and think they are worthless.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's not going to be in the intro to Indie Mayhem, though. But it's still true. No offense to you guys. You guys are great. I really like and value you guys.
You gotta open with that for sure.
But all
You
the people who
seriously do.
aren't here in front of me right now, fuck them.
Oh, I can't wait to see this first episode. Just from the personalities that I'm getting right now, I cannot wait to see how you guys pull this together. It's gonna be hilarious.
Thank you. I hope that's the goal, right, Robin?
That
Hilarious?
is in
Yeah.
fact.
At first we were like mildly funny, but then we changed it to hilarious.
Yeah. We thought at first.
Good call.
We had a lot of
Mild
meetings.
smirk.
Well, that was my first executive note. Was it's got to be hilarious.
Yeah, mildly funny. That's dumb. Make it hilarious.
Why would I put on something that's mildly funny?
I
Joe,
don't
you
know,
remember
24
that game
hours
that
a
we
day.
played?
That's 7 days a week. That's a lot of content that you need.
You
gotta
remember that
cut some
game we played,
corners.
Joe, in our trip in October, where it was the plot and playing the director
Mhm.
and the random cards of wackiness that you throw out.
Mhm.
It's kind of what I'm imagining y'all's meeting was like.
No, not really. No, I just said, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, no, that sounds good.
That's true.
No, just, wait, hold on.
True.
Can you add some nuns?
Cool.
Wait, hold on. We need more explosions.
Exploding nuns.
See? He's
Well,
on
then we're kind of
board.
getting into politics. And I
True.
really want to stay away from
True.
Katie broke her own rule.
it. Yeah.
I was discussing a game.
It's no game to the nuns.
To some people, it is a game. Politics is a game.
Oh, not to the
Oh,
nuns.
all right.
Good
Hard
point,
left. Hard
Robin.
left. Back onto the funny stuff. So have you
So
done
anyway,
any of the recordings?
Ukraine. What?
Have you done any of the recordings of the episodes? Since obviously you're pre-recording these and editing
No.
will take time.
No. I want to do that very soon. We want to do a pilot and really evaluate how it went. And so we're only going to do one the first time, and then we'll start doing them in batches to try and get them lined up so we can spend the time afterwards with the sound effects and the other indignities we will visit upon the contestants.
And continuity, if we can, shoot 3 of them in a Saturday, block it out, and then sit down and piece it all together. Once you've found that boing, you want to make use of that. You don't want to have to find that again. So
Indeed.
And who's handling the editing on this?
We are.
we are. I got the software and the internet connection, but I haven't learned to use the software. So,
But
I
would say I'm more moral support and
which
like
software are
getting
you using?
drinks.
I got the Creative Cloud, the Adobe.
Okay. That can be quite the learning curve.
That was my first impression. There's like 97 different sub apps in there, and you start watching the YouTube tutorials, and they're like, "Well, this one is obsolete now. Nobody uses this." But
Yeah, I
well,
have
then why is it here?
experience with the Creative Suite, the Adobe Creative Suite from like 10 years ago. So I
Oh.
feel like
Do
I'm going to
I.
be real helpful.
Oh,
Real
As do I. Yeah, Premiere is not my friend. I'm not a big fan of Adobe Premiere, to be honest with you.
So yeah, so the show is going to be awful. Just bad.
that was when you over
Overpromise.
promise something and you think you can actually do it, and then you see the reality of it. I did that with a client of mine once. They wanted me to cut some real quick videos. Thought, I can do this.
How hard could that be?
I downloaded DaVinci. It was free. I liked it. Software's supposed to be easy to use. 13 hours later, as I'm screaming at my computer and banging my head against the desk, going, "Why did I agree to this?"
Yeah, that's what we want.
So good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And you know who ended up editing her videos?
Shut up.
I feel like I do now. And of course, we do have, a resource. Joe has offered to help us. We want to do as much as possible because I know the load on him from all the shows is just ridiculous. And we want to get to a point where it's not such a big deal. I know it's going to be unpleasant at first, but I just the ability to make it exactly the way we want it without all the back and forth that would go if a third party, even Joe, was trying to do stuff. I don't think it's very feasible for the long term.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I
my
wish
plan is to touch it as little as possible. So
yeah, I wish one of Robin's children or one of our spouses, we could order them to do it, but
that would
so
be
far
nice.
they have not agreed to anything.
Yeah, they've not stepped up to the challenge.
Disappointing.
that's and just so you know, that's coming out of your end. I'm not paying for that. So
I feel like
Boss
they
has
pay
spoken.
already just being married to us and being our children. So I'm not giving them any.
I agree with doing the creative stuff and the editing yourself, because you have the vision. You know what you want it to look like. And even when you hand it off to somebody else with clear ideas of what it should look like, it never matches your exacting vision. So there'll be a learning curve for sure this first season. But I think from at least what you said, the premise sounds hilarious. I think the personalities will definitely shine in this kind of an environment. And as long as you get the editing right, it'll really look good.
And we wanted that creative control. I mean, we had Pat Sajak lined up, but he was starting to put his stamp on it, as he called it. And
Oh,
we
the
just,
ego.
yeah. So we cut him loose.
Turns out he's a real dick. He seems so nice on TV. But
Yeah, he stole several things from my house, just like silverware and stuff. He was just pocketing them. So
Horrible. Horrible.
yeah.
All right.
I don't
well, I'm
even
looking
watch
forward to
Wheel of
this.
Fortune anymore. I can't.
Is it still on?
Too painful.
I
Yeah,
haven't watched
5 days
TV
a
in
week.
forever. What
whenever
about-
I'm in a
what about The
hotel
Price is
room, I
Right?
see it. So
Is The Price is Right still on too?
It is.
It
Drew
is.
Carey is the host.
Wow. It's been forever since I've watched any of those, but those were like growing up. Anytime you were sick, you stayed home
Right.
from school, you were watching The Price is Right. That was it.
Well, so my wife and I sold our house and we moved in with my parents to help take care of my mother who has Alzheimer's. And they still watch Jeopardy every day. That's the one game show they watch. And I don't know if that affected this coming to mind, but I hadn't watched a game show in a long time, and it is so easy to get sucked into Jeopardy. For me, I mean, my dad's having a great time. My mom with the Alzheimer's is not very good at it because it affects the memory, and that's a memory game. But my dad and I are nice. When we win, we don't rub her nose in it.
yeah,
Even though we could, because she would forget the next day.
Yeah.
I competed with my father growing up, and the day I beat him is the day I retired.
Oh,
I
Smart.
said I beat him. I said I'm going out on top. I'm done, and I haven't watched another episode since. So
I did I did something similar with chess. My dad was teaching me chess, and the day that I beat him for the first time, I was such a dick about it that he never played again. I mean, I was a little
That was,
kid, I was very excited,
that
but
was my
apparently
brother.
I'm not a good winner.
That was my brother in basketball because my brother grew tall like my dad. I got my mom's genes, so I was short. So when my brother grew taller than me, he really wanted to play me basketball because I used to destroy him in basketball, right?
Oh.
And yeah, he was so excited to play me, and I almost even came back on him when he won his first time against me. But he was so like he was running through the house. I just beat Joe. I just beat Joe. Fuck him. I won. He's an asshole. And he fouled me all the time, but I still won. And it was my brother's way, and I wanted so badly to play him again because like that shit doesn't stay good with me. So let's go again. And he never would play me again. So
Oh,
I'm
genius,
sensing
evil genius.
a theme here.
yeah, the Comptons have, the moral dilemma of when we win because we do it so rarely, especially the
You gotta hold
Compton
that
children.
win.
Right there.
Yep, quit.
Yep.
Done.
Oh,
Yeah. Retire on top. No, it's not quitting. It's retiring. We're
Uh-huh.
retiring on top. There's a
it's a
subtle
fine line,
difference.
sounds like.
No.
I would still call it quitting, but you call it whatever you need to.
I will. Thank you.
Whatever keeps the ego happy.
And then I realized how stupid games really were. But I have grown out of the competitive nature of being like myself being competitive. I mean, but yeah,
we foster competitive nature in our family, not intentionally, but one of the things that I did with my kids, and I still do it with them, is every night before bed, we have our sit down time to play games. So all day long, we're all out doing our own things. They have school, whatever. We take about, an hour or so at the end of the day just to sit down and do something that's not screen time, that's family time, but that's enjoyable. So rather than, sitting and talking, we play games. And they're usually fast-paced games because I have table flippers for children. So we don't play anything long-winded, no monopolies, anything like that. But the games have slowly morphed into these very competitive, fast-paced games where we are very aggressive about trying to win. And one of the games my kids got this year for Christmas, you're slapping the cards down, and as one card comes out, if it's a specific card, you have to do an action and then slap the card down. And we've got injuries now from how fast people are slapping and swatting these cards. But they still love it. They still request to play the game, no matter how many injuries they get.
That's a good game.
Me and one of my brothers, my parents, we were not good winners. And so when I had kids, I'm like, I'm going to make sure my kids are good winners and good losers. We were bad at both of them in my generation and my parents. So I would not let my kids win. They had to earn a win. And at the end, if they were upset, I'm like, look, it doesn't matter who won or lost, which was really easy for me to say because I won.
You won, yeah.
But I'm like, it's about spending time with your family. And man, did they hate hearing that. And they are super sweet kids. But one of my oldest daughter, we went to a friend's birthday party and a friend of hers. And so this girl was, like 5 years old, and her dad was this gigantic, muscular cop. And he was letting her win at air hockey. And my daughter's like, man, that girl is so good at air hockey. I'm like, no, she sucks shit. Her dad is letting her win. Look at that guy. I mean, so, and my daughter just, people, you can do that? You could let me win? No, I can't. No. That is not a thing in our family. Cops are liars. So that is why.
Damn, Ron, just breaking it down tonight.
I teach a lot. Yeah. So my kids are real messed up. That's all.
We're the same. And when one kid is complaining about losing, the other one's usually taunting them about, well, get better. You suck.
I have one son who is really good at games. Like, will just win like almost every game. And my wife and I recently picked up dominoes, and we're like, we've never played dominoes in years. Let's learn the rules. Let's play a proper game. And we're like, oh, I hope Parker doesn't see us, because later he came up the stairs and walked past us, and he said, dominoes is solved, meaning there's one strategy to use and you can win every time. This game is not interesting. Let me tell you the strategy that will win every time. No, could you just not tell us? We're just sitting here chatting and playing the game. We don't need to know. Don't reduce it to tic-tac-toe for us, please.
Oh.
The fun thing for me about games is is talking about it. Like, what move did you do here? What things. I love that analysis. I'm an analysis guy. I like stats. I like talking about why they came about. Like I played cribbage with my ex father-in-law and my ex grandmother, and we would play cribbage and we would talk about those hands and the things that why it happened. And because cribbage is such a luck game, there's not really strategy that you can employ a strategy, but it's really luck. It's really a lot of luck. So we would talk about how we went on this run and everything like that. And that's what I love about games. I love the analysis afterwards. I'm always been that way.
I like the drinking, like party games.
That too.
It doesn't matter. You're just really there to hang out, drink.
You hit it right there. That's the best one. Right.
We've got one game where the intent of the game is to bluff your opponents to steal their money, and that one is a family.
I played that game. Yeah, I played that game.
Especially with the little ones. My two littler ones.
No, it's close though.
When they actually get away with a bluff, they can't help but tell you about it right afterwards.
Right, because they're so proud.
Your face.
Like wiggling.
It's almost fun to let them bluff you because they're so enthusiastic and they're so in your face about it.
They sound very smart.
Oh, they're wonderful children. They will rule the world one day, and especially with my youngest, you had all better be on her good side when that happens.
Trust me, we're all going to be ruled by Zoe. So we all need to be very, very, we need to tiptoe around her.
And if you need proof, check my Facebook page because she had belt testing last night in her MMA class, and I posted most of her sparring matches. She's already kicking ass at 8 years old.
Dang.
In pink gloves, big pink gloves.
Yes, in beautiful big pink gloves, which is the most ridiculous thing ever when you see somebody coming at you with pink sparring gear.
It's kind of a brilliant strategy.
It is. I agree.
You should get her to put like sparkles and shit on it, glitter, and
she would probably
unicorn cutouts and rainbows,
and some lead in those gloves. So that
she doesn't need the lead. Oh no, she's got a mean right cross.
She's got thunder and lightning right here. She doesn't need the lead.
Okay, like throughout the whole practicing sessions, they always kind of faux punch and they're doing light taps. And they'd been told belt testing is full force. You're going to get in there and you're going to actually fight because that's what qualifies you is not whether you win or lose the fight, but whether you actually showed up and used the skill.
Right.
And so I'm used to seeing her, light touch, light tap, play around, ha, ha, ha. No, she came out punching. There was at one point, the instructor had them starting with her in a submission pose. She was on the ground with somebody on top of her. And she asks, I kid you not, she goes, so when do I get to start punching? And he said, if you can get up, you can start punching. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and I have it on video. She throws the kid over, backs up, and she's got her fists ready. I'm like, oh my God, where did this kid come from? So yes, she will rule the world one day.
I'm afraid to make any comments about her.
It will find you
now. Get on
punch you with those
now.
I already feel like I need to avoid Las Vegas.
Well, there's other reasons to avoid Las Vegas, not just Zoe. But
yeah, anyway. It's fun when they play the games, though, and especially the little ones, because when they can rub it in your face, it's hilarious.
Great.
And with that lulling conversation,
I was just thinking this really made me want to defeat my children at some games. right now.
Good. I'm glad I inspired you to defeat your children.
I need to remind them who's the boss.
That's right. Who's on top? Who's in charge? Well, it's like the old tribal influences. If you can no longer lead the pack, then step aside. The next one's going to come up there. So you have to prove that you're still able to, lead the pack.
Agreed.
I like how intense he is right there.
Yeah, I just hope they're not watching right now, so they're completely surprised when I attack them.
Oh, good strategy. Very good strategy.
Yeah,
but it is
get the
live,
guard
so there
down.
is a chance that if you told them, they would be watching.
Well, I do tend to do better in competitions where the other people don't know we are competing.
That it's a competition.
Like racing, when I'm driving, I'm like,
Yeah.
I kicked that guy's ass, and he didn't know we were racing, or that old lady, or whoever it was,
Right.
But
That
I still
scooter.
feel pretty good that my 4-cylinder, Outback defeated them.
Yes.
Surprise is my greatest weapon. Maybe my only weapon.
I'm getting Monty Python vibes now.
My only quality weapon. So,
Well, I cannot wait to see this game show come out. I'll be anticipating it the end of March, and we'll probably have to have you come back on after you've done your season and kind of let us know how it went, especially the editing, how hard that was to get correct, and what
And
things
after
you
action
enjoyed about it.
definitely. I would love that.
All right. Well,
Robin,
since we
would
are
you
at
love
the
that?
last... Oh, go ahead.
Robin, would you love that?
I would love that too. Yes.
We would both
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
There
we
you
would-
go.
And I promise I won't co-host that so you guys can say freely what you really want to
We'll
say
have
about
to talk
me.
about Joe. A fair amount.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As long as we can talk about Joe, we will come back.
We'll send him the wrong link. Tell him it's a different day,
There you go. There you go.
and
All
then
right,
we
since
can talk
we've got
about
the
how he
last-
didn't show up.
What?
So we send him the wrong link. We'll talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
how
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't worry, I'll cover
Yeah.
for you.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be the first time she sent me the wrong link.
Shh. Speaking of links, let everyone know where they can find you guys. That way, before the show airs, they can find out about your books and find out how to stalk you online and become your next biggest fan.
Well, my website, Cathaldi.com. My fantasy trilogy is the Cathaldi Chronicles, and the website is Cathaldi.com. And that has all my social media stuff, my cell phone number, my PIN number, all that stuff is on my website, and links to all my books. So, there.
And we'll make sure that's in the show notes below. So if you're watching this later on YouTube, you'll be able to just find the link right there. Robin, how about you?
I don't currently have a website up. I do have a book that you can find on Amazon. I'll hold this up to the camera there. This
Ooh.
Smart Dad, Dumb Dad. It's a parody. See, my camera goes back. Everything moves left to right, the wrong
I
direction.
know,
so
it's all backwards.
It's all very confusing for me. But
You held it up right side up, though.
I've been learning that skill. That's a parody of a Robert Kiyosaki book, the Rich Dad Poor Dad series of book and book byproduct. So that is currently available on Amazon. If you just go to Amazon and search Smart Dad, Dumb Dad, it will show up as a physical book that you can hold in your hand, which I'm old enough to still like. So
We will make sure to put that link in our show notes below as well, so they can easily find your work. And Joe, fill us in. What's going on?
With
Going now with your writing, where people can find you. Come on now, keep up.
well, I'm still smarting from Anita's comment there, but that being said, yeah, youtube.com/GoIndie now. That's where you're going to find the Indie Mayhem show. Actually, it'll broadcast on all of our. So we have Twitch TV/GoIndie now. We have Facebook.com/GoIndie now. Instagram, we'll post some clips there on Instagram and TikTok, which is GoIndie now. So Just search Go Indie Now. You'll find, well, they're all just /Go Indie Now, except for Twitter, because that bastard is still holding Go Indie Now's name hostage and he wants $3,500, not $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, on Twitter, my name is Joe Dream 73, but it's Joe Compton /Go Indie Now Twitter account, which I actually kind of like it, because then I can just be Joe on a lot of on that aspect of it, and nobody likes Twitter anyway, so who gives a shit? But yeah, so that's where you can find all of our stuff. And tune in tomorrow, everybody. Everybody who's here, who's going to watch this, if you watch this before tomorrow morning at noon Eastern time, the person that's in the chat right now, Miss Maddie DeGraff, is hosting This Week in Indies, and the gentleman below me is actually one of the guests on the show, Mr. Ron Lahr. So we're real excited about that. She's going to be talking about self-care for authors. So I think that's going to be a really, really great topic. She's got a really great show lined up, and I'm real excited to have her host. Yeah, it will be a really great show. That'll happen on Sunday at noon, and then we've got other things planned. We're going to be starting our spring season here pretty soon, which has also another person in the chat, Miss Anita Stewart's last few episodes of Words That Kill, her show on there, and then we have genres episodes to post and origin episodes, and then of course we get into the big premieres, which are the Indie Mayhem and a couple other things that we've got lined up, like the second season of 3-Act Structure and a lot of stuff going on. So, and of course, Katie and I will be back in the second week of March to do Late Night News with Go Indie Now, which is the show that Katie and I do live on Friday nights, second Friday of every month. And we just did Joe Gets Twitchy with Mr. Ron Lahr below me again last night, and that was a lot of fun. So if you wanted to go check that out, that is exclusively on our Twitch channel. Although I'll probably post the replay on YouTube at some point. But
as an old person, I don't even know what Twitch is, and I was proud to be a part of it.
There are so many platforms these days. Also, shout out to Anita.
Ridiculous.
She has been posting a lot of great indie author advice on her YouTube channel. I will make sure to put her link as well in the show notes below, because she's had some really good advice on marketing, on stories, and definitely worth checking out. So,
Nice.
And I believe that, and Maddie has been doing some great interviews, author interviews too. And she just interviewed me, and that's the reason, that interview was the thing that convinced me that she's perfect to host This Week in Indies. And so, I mean, it was before that I had an inkling, but this was, she was really great. And so that was a really great interview, and I really appreciated it. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll make sure that we put as many links as possible in the show notes for everyone who watches this after the fact, so you guys can always catch up and find the people that you need to find.
And thanks to Jane for letting me sit here for a week. I really appreciate it, Jane. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't even come close to filling your shoes, but I really appreciate the opportunity to sit here and co-host.
You've been a wonderful co-host. Anytime you want to come and join us, you come and join us, Joe. All right. Well, that's it for us.
Careful what you wish for.
I already wished for it on public. So there you go. We'll be back again soon with more authors to introduce you to and some more fun conversation. Until then, guys, keep on reading, and we will talk to you later.